No coach has made more championship weekend appearances than those 15 by Kelly Amonte-Hiller. They've won the national championship 8 times, including a year ago. Yeah, the top-seeded Wildcats in white. Samantha Smith in the draw control circle for Northwestern. Liz Harrison in blue and orange for Florida. You practice all year in hopes that you can get to this moment. Here we are in the Final Four, underway in Cary, North Carolina. And it's Northwestern that wins the opening draw with Sam Smith. And we get our first look at this Wildcats' prolific offense. We just talked about Skane and Kuykendall. You add Madison Taylor into that mix as well. If you're Florida, you can't stop them, Charlotte, but how can you try and slow them down?
This Maryland defense loves to play in the traditional man setting, 1v1. They trust their footwork, but they've got some heavyweight matchups. Teresa Bragg, Caitlin Davies are going to have their hands full with the star power of this Northwestern offense.
Here's Skane, 27 in white.
Good double team. Whistle for the foul. We talked about Florida being the #1 offense, but guess who's #2? It's this Northwestern team. So many different weapons. Izzy Skane often steals the headlights. Number 27 is going to be set up. She has multiple different ways she can score. She can penetrate to the inside or let it rip.
It's so dangerous on the 8-meter. First free position of the Final Four. Great save. Elise Fennell, third-team All-American, showing why to deny Skane.
It's funny. We were able to talk to Fennell, the goalkeeper for Florida, yesterday, and she said on the 8-meter, she just focuses on the ball. Doesn't realize who's up there. Doesn't matter. Just focuses on that little yellow ball and tries to stop it.
Kuykendall fakes the pass to Skane, keeps it herself. Kuykendall so dangerous around the crease. A gifted feeder, can certainly score on her own as well. 2 in white has it here.
The Florida defense doesn't like to slide, so the Northwestern offense has to isolate matchups they think they can win and initiate with a hard dodge that does draw the help defense in.
See the way the defense is working for Florida, just really getting aggressive on the hands, making little poke checks.
15 seconds on the shot clock. A long opening possession for Northwestern. Here's Madison Taylor towards on finalist. Trying to muscle her way through. Missed it. Shot clock doesn't reset. 3 seconds left in it. Another save for now. Battle for the ball. Won by Erin Kuykendall. Shot clock should have reset. Fennell definitely got a piece of that. The referees will come together here.
What a great first stand for Florida. You know there's nerves coming into the semifinal game.
And they do reset the shot clock to 60. So Fennell's made 2 saves, but Florida hasn't been able to get the clear. 4 shots already for Northwestern. They are piling on the pressure of this opening possession. The reigning champions. Back to Skane.
Excellent defense. The double team and slide is there. They're going to call Florida for a check across the body. So once again, Skane on the 8-meter, replacing the hash mark closest to where the foul occurred, so a different angle for her.
Eventually, you give her so many chances, she will make you pay. Owns the Division I scoring record, but snuffed out again. Elise Fennell has denied Skane twice on the 8-meter. What does that do for your confidence?
It's huge. Right off the jump, you're seeing the ball well, and she knows the heavy hitters that this Northwestern offense has in terms of shooters, but she's riding a bit of a hot streak coming down the stretch of the season. The AAC Goalkeeper of the Year is 3rd nationally in save percentage, just behind Jenna Gakuoko and Erin O'Grady from Michigan.
Northwestern just had 5 shots on their first offensive possession, so huge for Florida defense to stand strong with Fennell and make a couple saves. Florida's known to be patient on offense. They work the ball around fast. They're ready, being prepared for this Northwestern defense that typically is very aggressive and will put pressure. Right now, Northwestern set back and letting Florida work the perimeter. We'll see how aggressive they get.
That whizzes wide. Emily Heller.
Good backup behind. If you're new to the game, it's when a shot goes, whoever gets closest to it when it goes out of bounds regains possession.
Very
Liberty in goal for Northwestern, facing the #1 scoring team in the country. They started so well in that quarterfinal. Got up 9-0 against Maryland, and they start well here. After a long defensive stand, Danielle Pavanelli opens the scoring for Florida.
What a start for Florida. We mentioned the Open. They went up on a 9-0 lead against the Terps in their last game in the quarterfinals. Pavanelli, the senior, coming off a 2-goal, 2-assist performance against Maryland, and had those goals in that first quarter. Just a nice pass inside, and the composure for Pavanelli. Northwestern comes and starts to put pressure on, but they don't get their feet set. She's able to cradle through that, get her stick free. An excellent place in the shot. Only had about 7 inches of room to slip that one by. An excellent first start.
We've seen the Northwestern zone come out in a little bit of a different look than we've seen all season long. They have moderate pressure up top with just 3 girls. So that is how Madison Waters was able to draw the eyes in. They were collapsing quickly up top because there weren't as many girls in the area, and it opened up that inside lane for Pavanelli.
Ready? I was actually surprised that Northwestern wasn't putting so much pressure on the ball handlers. Typically, you can see them get out, put pressure, and it can rattle you and force you into making that pass when you're not necessarily ready to.
And we talked to Coach Kelly Monty-Hiller about the different defensive schemes that they feel that they can run. They don't want to be boxed into just a high-pressure zone. They have different looks where they can man certain part of the zones. They can have high pressure and low pressure in different pockets.
Skane trying to answer on the offensive end after Pavanelli set the tone here in our first semifinal. She scored the opening goal in that quarterfinal win against Maryland. Florida's a team, when they get the lead, tough to come back on. Taylor trying to wiggle free.
And no call. The officials letting the defense play.
Florida's got to be careful, and when they slide, they cannot lead with their stick. They've got to use their feet, but a great check right there.
Teresa Bragg, what excellent takeaway. You're going against Izzy Skane, and you see the stick present itself and have the guts to go for it, knowing that sometimes she can just whiz right by you. Really impressive play. Oh, turf monster and loss of goggles will have to stop play. And that's going to be an official's whistle, just making sure the equipment is put on properly.
This is Paisley Egan.
Northwestern not happy with that call.
No, they wanted the ball. So an interesting first 5 minutes in the semifinal. Izzy Skane, 2 free positions, saved both by the goalie keeper Elise Fennell, and then a caused turnover as well. And this is the Division I scoring leader with 367 goals. She won on this field a year ago, the national championship. But it is Florida who has come out and thrown the first punch. Northwestern starting to ramp up that pressure. Carly Mahoney creates the turnover. A lot of talk about this Wildcats offense, but this Northwestern defense is a championship defense as well.
Carly Mahoney is a big piece of that, as that rover of the zone in the middle, occupying cutters and communicating as that back wall of the defense, and comes up with a clutch cause turnover right there.
And talking to Kelly Monty-Hiller this week, she feels like on the defensive end between Mahoney and Halpern, that's the most cohesive group that she's coached in a long time. And it's that mental flexibility you talked about, Charlotte, the ability to flow between those different styles of defense that makes them so hard to penetrate.
Quickendall's very dangerous from behind the cage. She can go to cage, but really loves to feed. And you get her hands free, she can thread the needle.
Lindsey Frank draws shooting space.
Great ball movement, just working the ball around. The quick passes, catches that defender in that lane to goal, which is dangerous in terms of safety, so is a whistle for an 8-meter.
Frank charges in and scores! Lindsey Frank ties it at 1.
Lindsey Frank, the transfer from Richmond, who played field hockey in the fall, comes into this Northwestern offense and has found her role. She's so lethal on the back side of an offense when someone like Erin Kuykendall or Izzy Skane can draw double teams. She knows when to trigger on that back side, and she buries one there. She is coming off a quarterfinal performance where she was 4 for 4 in her shots.
Lindsey Frank, in many ways, your quintessential Kelly Amonte Hiller player. She loves those multi-sport athletes.
I want y'all.
And Frank just had such a dominant career at Richmond. Not only was she a big-time goal scorer, but also was huge on the draw controls. Hasn't helped Northwestern as much in the center circle. They're so strong in their three people that they usually put there. But been a great addition. She loves the multi-sport athletes. And that having that championship experience. The Northwestern field hockey team made it to the national championship this year. They lost to North Carolina in that national championship game. But when you have just that experience, it really helps, especially when you have a veteran leader like Lindsey Frank come over.
This is not what we expected defensively from Northwestern. Usually that high pressure, really putting a lot of attention on the ball. In Florida, they're happy to play a little more patient game to start the semifinal, it seems.
Florida just waiting for the opportunity. They're going to call a charge on that call. I actually thought that was a defensive foul at first. But they're looking to take whatever Northwestern is giving them. And right now, Northwestern opting to face guard Maggie Hall for Florida. She had 6 goals against Maryland last week in the quarterfinals, so it's smart to try to take her out of the game. But as we talked about, the Florida offense has a lot of people that can score.
And I think a little bit of that defensive approach might be to limit those inside lanes. This is a Florida offense that leads the nation in assists. They like to connect and generate assisted goals, so packing it in can force them to dodge from the outside a little bit more.
Look at the off-ball movement for Northwestern, creating lanes, constantly moving the off-ball players.
Skane double team, flips it to Kuykendall. Kuykendall trying to spin her way free. Bragg all over her. Very aggressive by Teresa Bragg to start this game. Already caused 1 turnover. Might have another here. And Florida does. Madison Waters. This is a Florida team that loves to play fast. When they create a turnover, they're one of the best teams in the nation, turning defense into offense.
And you can see how confident they are in their individual matchups and who they're sending an early slide to. You can see it's on Erin Kuykendall and Izzy Skane. They're trying to run that pick game on the elbow, but that early jump double and going aggressively with a lot of ball pressure is what generated that takeaway.
How good is the sophomore Teresa Bragg been to start this semifinal? 2 caused turnovers in this opening quarter, just a sophomore. Pavanelli continues to quarterback for Florida. A lot of their offense, especially with Maggie Hall face guarded right now, going through number 10 in blue.
Hannah Gillespie, number 44 in white, is face guarding Maggie Hall, trying to take her out.
Well, they had Madison Waters cutting, just couldn't connect, but it bounces back to Pavanelli. Pavanelli splits the double team, eyes up. Ton of contact and a call comes in.
A lot of swinging going on. When you're playing defense, you want to make sure that you've got your feet set, and when you go for the check, that you're in a controlled manner. So watch the string. There's a couple fouls that could have been called. Check across the body, that's a swipe. Almost lucky it probably wasn't a yellow card. But this will set up Maggie Hall for an 8-meter.
Maggie Hall is so critical from the outside as a ball handler. Her ability to get to the inside and draw the heart of a defense is why she is so successful.
And she gets to the 8-meter a lot, and when she's there, she's prolific. 76% free position.
That's unheard of. That is absolutely unbelievable. The best shooters want to be about 50%. It all depends on your angle. She's got a great look here.
One-on-one with Lon Liberty, and buries it! Maggie Hall, Florida's leading scorer, cashes in on the 8-meter and fires Florida back in front.
8 meters are so important in the game of women's lacrosse. Coming off a 6-goal, 1-assist performance against Maryland. When you're being face guarded, one of the ways that you can get the face guard to be released is score in different ways. She's able to get the ball on her stick, takes the cage, gets fouled, gets on the 8-meter, fire this one low, and flutters up 2-1.
Now, Florida opened the season with 2 straight losses, and now they've won 20 straight, including knocking off 3 of the perennial powers of the sport. North Carolina in the first round, number 5 Virginia in the second round, and then last Thursday in the quarterfinal, they go to College Park and beat down Maryland 15-9. So Florida, impressive road here to get to the Final Four, and now they're facing the number 1 team, Northwestern, the reigning champions, and they have come out with a ton of confidence.
I think you can see why. I mean, having those performances against so many great teams that had so much postseason experience, this Florida team's made it to the NCAA tournament 13 times, only 1 time in the NCAA semifinal back in 2012.
And these are 2 programs that are very familiar with one another, but you got to go back a decade. When they were in the ALC, this was the rivalry. Before Northwestern joined the Big Ten, it was Florida, Northwestern. Every single year you'd circle that game.
A huge rivalry, and I bet a lot of girls in the stands, alumni here today, remember those games. And that 2012 Final Four was one they were not happy with the results. So a lot of people in the orange and blue today hoping to see this Florida program make history.
And that ALC stands for the American Lacrosse Conference, now defunct, but these 2 programs had a great rivalry back then, and Kelly and Monty Hill are actually likening it to what Maryland Northwestern has become today. Back in the day, they met a lot and frequently throughout the season.
And for Florida, this is their first Final Four since they were in the ALC in 2012, so 12-year gap between championship weekend appearances. It has been worth the wait for this Gators team. A 2-1 lead in our opening quarter here in Cary, North Carolina. First of 2 semifinals. Here's Madison Taylor trying to spin her way free. Elise Fennell makes another save. She is dialed in to start this game.
And credit to the defense in front of her, really giving her the types of shots that she's comfortable seeing. That defense is really packed in, and the slides are able to be shorter because of the lack of spacing the Northwestern offense has right now, unable to get into a flow.
Four saves already for the Florida goalie, Elise Fennell. She started the season but lost the starting job after 3 games. Georgie Hoy played 11 games and then got injured, so they went back to Fennell, and she has found a new gear. Been a huge reason why Florida made it to the Final Four, and she is playing her best lacrosse down the stretch of this season.
And she was the backup a year ago behind the great Sarah Resnick for this Florida program, who went on to play professional lacrosse for Athletes Unlimited. So she learned from a great at that position.
Maggie Hall tried to give and go. Shot clock down to 25. They feed it back to Hall. Already a goal today. 61 on the season and 12 during this NCAA tournament run. Hall dispossessed. Shot clock down to 5. Hall stays down. They have to blow play dead with 2 seconds on the shot clock. Hall losing her goggles. Now Florida's sideline saying it's a foul. Northwestern saying it was embellishment.
And embellishment can be carded. Embellishment and flopping is a cardable foul, but officials did not see that. There's another. We'll see what they call here.
And again, Hall goes down. Northwestern saying she's embellishing on these last 2. The referees instead award Hall a free position.
Here's the last play. So watch the stick towards the head area.
Yeah, I don't see contact. I think she goes down.
I didn't see it either. It looked like the Northwestern defender was confused as well.
Free position opportunity for number 19, Maggie Hall.
So 1 second put on the shot clock here for Hall.
Oh, she looked like she moved early. Yep, there's going to be a false start offensively, so that's going to be Northwestern ball.
So eventually the Wildcats get the call they were calling for on the previous two. It's a question you don't often have to ask, Shane, when it comes to Northwestern offensively, but how do they get it going? It's been a slow start for them, uncharacteristic.
It seems like the ball's getting stuck a little too much in their sticks, and we've seen Florida come away with some takeaways. So when they make the pass, I think they look for that next pass. So quick passing movements, don't let the slide come.
Samantha Smith wiggles free and ties it at 2. That's more like it for the Wildcats.
Samantha Smith, not just a draw taker for this Northwestern team. She's a two-way midfielder, and she's showing off her dodging ability there. Reading the pressure of her matchup defender, feeling her overplay her top side, and recognizing she can turn and roll to the inside and win herself an angle to cage. Recognizing the slide is not coming and taking that one-on-one.
Smith, of course, takes the draw as well for Northwestern. She's been dominant in the draw control circle throughout her career. Two-time Big Ten first-teamer.
Ready? We got the officials mic'd up also, which is great to hear, especially the direction they're giving to the draw takers.
Great battle between the three circle players on each team. The ball is still loose.
What a handle.
Emily Heller. Both Emily Heller and Hannah Heller, the twin sisters, on the circle for Florida. They have been so fun to watch this season.
That was a great scrum. You know, you just see the battle that goes for those 50-50 balls. Northwestern with a slight edge. They've won 3 draw controls. Florida with 2.
And it can be hard to maintain your focus throughout the entirety of that draw control, battling in that 3v3. The Heller sisters are a scary sight at the draw control circle, alongside Liz Harrison, who's second nationally in draws per game.
Okay, time is correct.
So it looks like there was maybe a potential clock issue, but Florida maintains possession.
Northwestern no longer face guarding Maggie Hall.
This looks like a little more of the defense we've seen from Northwestern this season. That high pressure zone with 4 up top on that 8-meter fan.
Great take, but no goal. The officials waving it off for a crease violation. And a card comes out for a dangerous follow through.
Wow, a double whammy for Florida. So no goal.
Gianna Monaco.
You've got to be in control of your stick and just watch the extension right into the Northwestern player. Great call by the official. You need to make sure that you cannot shoot through people. And that definitely makes contact. So a yellow card for Florida. Florida will be down a player for up to 2 minutes. It is releasable on a Northwestern score.
So instead of Monaco giving Florida the lead, it's still a tie game, and Northwestern will be warming up here at the end of the first quarter. It's been a very physical first quarter as well, Charlotte.
And we expected that a little bit. Both very physical defenses. They like to create chaos, not just in the settled 7-on-7 set, but in transition, in the midfield, and in the ride. Very different styles of defense from the zone to the man, but equally as physical and aggressive on ball.
The officials working together. One of the new rules this year, so the penalty is for 2 minutes. There's 1 minute left in the quarter. If Northwestern maintains possession of the ball at the expiration of the quarter, they will start with the ball. You don't go to a draw control. So it'll be interesting to see how they operate this possession. The shot clock still is in effect, and that is 90 seconds.
The official still trying to get the clock right because the shot clock still has 37 on it from the previous possession. It should be turned off completely for this final minute of the opening quarter as Northwestern goes to the power play for the first time today.
I'd like to see them be aggressive. That's in their nature, so I would be surprised if they opt to hold possession. I think Florida defensively doesn't want to force them to go to cage being a player down.
And when you are a player down, you got to zone the inside of the 8-meter. They like to play in the man setting 1v1, so a little bit uncomfortable for this Florida defense. You'd think the Wildcats would want to capitalize.
Beautifully tucked away, Izzy Skane gives Northwestern the lead for the first time today.
Love her picture in the stands, a big fat head. Izzy Skane gets her 80th goal this season. She has been on a tear throughout her career, often marked up with the best player of the opposing team. She's so powerful as a Dodger. This one, she just kind of finesses it in. They're woman up, not much angle, and just shoots with absolute precision. Just watch her release point here. A nice little handle, quick cradle, and just beautiful assessment of where is open and gets that one by Fennell. Great feed from Mary Schumar.
What makes her so tough to stop on the inside, like you mentioned, Sheehan, it's that quick release. She pours in goals at a rate that is unheard of. She has such strong wrists, such a quick release, and it's really hard for a goalie to track. She's running out of real estate there, and you think she has absolutely no angle. And a lot of times for other offensive players, it might take a cradle or two, but for her, she's got the stick work and the wrists to bury it.
Florida trying to answer in the final 15 seconds here of the first quarter. Here's Danielle Pavanelli. Finds Waters. Great stop. Florida trying to reload quickly. And Northwestern's defense comes up strong again. Mahoney the takeaway.
At the end of the first quarter of play, Northwestern 3, Florida 2.
Fun finish to this opening quarter. Northwestern gets the goal from Izzy Skane, her 80th on the year. For the sports leading goal scorer, now 368. Florida's come to play in this first semifinal. We've got a fun one here in Cary, North Carolina. Florida back in the Final Four for the first time since 2012. Mandy O'Leary, their head coach, was down with Dana Boyle moments ago.
Coach O'Leary, we're through one quarter. How do you evaluate your team's performance out here?
Yeah, I mean, really proud of their effort thus far. I think defensively we're playing lights out. I think we're putting some pressure on where we need to put pressure on. They had a great man-up goal, so credit them. But I'm proud of our offense as well, and if we can come up with some more draws, I think we'll be in good shape.
How do you continue to create that chaos on both ends of the field to hold Northwestern at bay?
Yeah, I mean, I think just aggressive play. I mean, we have to match their aggressive play, so if we can continue doing that, hopefully we'll put them a little bit on their heels. But they're a great team, so, you know, they're going to come out and play as hard as they can play, and we just have to match it.
Speaking of aggression, how do you address the physicality out there?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we're letting them play, and then in some instances we're not. So, but it's up to us, right? We need to dictate defensively, and we need to do a little bit better offensively on creating better opportunities for ourselves.
Thanks, Coach. Thank
you.
We really enjoyed our conversation with Mandy O'Leary, Florida's head coach. She is having so much fun with this group. So many veterans on this Florida team, very senior laden, some fifth-year grad students as well. And they felt like this was the Florida team to put this program back on this stage in championship weekend. And they are holding their own against the reigning champs in Northwestern. An opportunity to tie it at 3.
Pavanelli on the 8-meter due to a push. She opts to pass out of that, which is interesting. She's one of the best goal scorers for Florida. But sometimes if you feel like you don't have a great angle, this is a fortunate turnover. Got to make those connections.
And that's why when you have the 8-meter, you should probably go to goal, right?
You know my opinion on the 8 meters. I think you take those shots, but you need to be comfortable. So there's sometimes there are players that just seem to have a mental block with it. So if you don't feel like you can score, then most definitely pass out of it. But I like attacking those free position shots.
Charlotte North, it's against your religion to pass out of a free position.
To that one, Jen. You know how I feel about it as well, but this Florida offense has kind of got to regroup and seeing a different look that the Northwestern defense is throwing at them with that high pressure, already 6 turnovers on the day.
And that's one of those turnovers that you really just need to clean up. It was uncontested and not a ton of pressure for Northwestern.
Skane scoops it up and reloads for Northwestern. Here's Madison Taylor. Tried to split the double team and lost it. Well, the defense so far dominating in this first semifinal, Charlotte.
Madison Taylor playing without goggles in her hand. She got knocked to the ground. She's going to be issued a green card for that. She's got to put those on immediately. So when you don't get the foul, which we're seeing the officials let these players play, get up off the turf and get your goggles on, because otherwise you can be penalized for playing without your equipment. So green card issued. This is a 90-second penalty. And it is releasable on a score. It does not count to the total card count for a team. And I've talked to Kelly Monty-Hiller about sometimes what's happening right now in this conversation. What are you talking about? And she's told me in the past, sometimes you just go and just calm them down. Just say, you know, you got it. Just have a blank slate next time you go out there. Just is a very calming force.
And it can be hard when you feel like you're dodging through traffic and you get fouled, but in turn, you don't. You lose possession, and then a little bit of frustration kicks in. So regrouping is important at that point.
And now Florida moves woman up for the first time today. 40 seconds left in the power play. An offense that came out with a ton of confidence early. Scored on 2 of their first 5 shots, but now 6 turnovers, starting to pile up the empty possessions.
And I misspoke. This is a 60-second penalty. The 90-second shot clock is still in effect for this penalty for a green card. There's a lot of numbers and a lot of colors all related to different fouls in this sport. Essentially, it's all to keep the game and the players safe. The only equipment is the goggles. Quick ball movement to beat a zone offensively when you're in a woman-up opportunity. And you still want to dodge, and you dodge like that so you can draw the foul. So that was an excellent take. A lot of times when we see teams pass it around the perimeter, sometimes they're not able to get that open look. But when you take it to cage, you can draw the foul.
Northwestern back to full strength. Emily Heller on the 8-meter. This is not a good angle for Heller, though. Decides to go the goal anyway, and La Liberty just keeps it out. La Liberty, who starred on this stage a year ago. The Tufts transfer made that transition from Division III to Division I, won the national championship a year ago on this very field. Pavanelli all over La Liberty, steals it right back, and goes to goal! Danielle Pavanelli stripped it, fed it to Ashley Gonzalez, and Florida ties it at 3. And La Liberty struggling in the clear, gifting a goal to Florida. First Gators goal in more than 8 minutes.
We talk about the tenacity of the Florida defense, but their ride is equally as aggressive, and Danielle Pavanelli times this back check perfectly as La Liberty tries to go one-handed, and the patience and awareness of Pavanelli to hold onto that ball for an extra second, draw that defender on the inside and Jane Hansen, and that opens up Ashley Gonzalez on the back side of the back pipe for a one-timer.
And watch this here. It looks like La Liberty hits her head on that goal post. She was slow to get up. And obviously it hurts as your goalie when you're outside the crease. Usually the offensive players will foul the goalie because they get overly aggressive. A perfectly timed check for that takeaway.
Well, that's the style of play that got Florida to the Final Four, causing turnovers, creating that chaos, and then cashing in on the offensive end.
Love that unselfishness, too. This Florida team is #1 in assists per game. And Pavanelli, she could have taken the shot, but instead she dishes it out, and Gonzalez with the score.
True sign of a senior leader. Feels like she's been the heartbeat of this offense all season long.
Great take, Madison Taylor. What an individual effort and an immediate answer.
Madison Taylor, the sophomore, one of 5 finalists for the Tewaaraton Trophy. Gets her 76th goal this season. She's struggled. She's hit the turf a lot going to cage in this afternoon, but she becomes the 4th different goal scorer for Northwestern. An excellent just take to goal. She backs up, gets her defender running at her, and then she starts to penetrate in, gets her stick free. Beautiful job just with the face dodge. And then look how she changes the levels of that shot. She's diving to the turf, her stick stays high, and then she fires it. Love the goal camera.
And she really balances this offense on the left side of the field. You see the kind of numbers that she's putting up with respect to other phenomenal players for this Northwestern program. Just ridiculous what she's done in her sophomore campaign.
Put it into perspective, Charlotte, she's the first sophomore named as a Tewaaraton finalist since 2014. Names like Taylor Cummings and Kayla Traynor, the last to do that, and she's so young in her career, bright star. She's got a big future ahead in a Wildcat uniform.
Molly LaLiberty, the Northwestern goalie, ran all the way from her goal over to the Wildcat sideline. Again, collided with the side of the pipe trying to save that Pavanelli goal.
Looks like she maybe got some black wrap or tape on her knee along with a water bottle.
And now she's coming out of the game. Kara Nugent is running in cage for Northwestern, the backup goalie.
Now, we've not seen this before. I'm wondering if it's because an injury, possibly blood on her knee, and maybe she went to the sideline. And here's a change of shoes or cleats.
Yeah, it looks like they might be wiping something off of that leg.
So there was blood, we're being told, a cut that she needs to be pulled out, make sure that that's cleaned up.
What an opportunity for Kara Nugent, thrust in to this semifinal.
Always got to be ready.
Always have to be ready. Samantha Smith wins the draw, and that'll give Nugent some time to settle in. And actually, Nugent's going to run off the field here now that LaLiberty's set to come back in to goal for Northwestern. Wildcats controlling a 4-3 lead. Izzy Skane in this Northwestern offense took a little while to get going, but finding a rhythm here in the second quarter. Boykendahl flips it off to Skane. Skane loses her balance. Turns it over.
What beautifully timed execution of the check and the double team. That is perfect teamwork defensively.
Talk about the matchup of a lifetime for someone like Caitlin Davies, just a sophomore, but usually takes that top matchup for this Florida defense.
LaLiberty back in and makes a spectacular save to deny Maggie Hall. Wow.
You can really tell a great goalie by their reaction time and the movements they take to make a save. LaLiberty just selling out almost in the splits trying to get that stick on that.
And she's been sprinting to and from the sideline, tested right away and answers.
And that's Maggie Hall's money spot, sweeping across the 8-meter. And you think about the style LaLiberty plays with as a traditional left-handed goalkeeper, can oftentimes throw off shooters.
Florida letting Erin Boykendahl just be behind the cage, not putting any pressure on her. And this is another isolation play for Madison Taylor.
And Taylor buries it again! Madison Taylor! She'll make you pay in a one-on-one matchup like that. Now 130 goals in her first 2 seasons, most by any Wildcat. Leads this team in points, Charlotte, and you see why on a play like that.
Madison Taylor telling everybody in this stadium, you don't want to slide to me, just my other 2 attackers that I line up next to. She'll go to work on that left elbow. We've seen her go underneath. Here she makes one subtle drop step and that buys her the space to go over the top of that defense, and credit to her teammates for giving her the lane and the space to set up that 1v1 and win on the perimeter.
Northwestern on a 4-1 scoring run. Taylor with 2 of those goals. Now, Madison Taylor has not had a game where she has scored less than 4 points since mid-February.
Ready.
I think a lot of people assume that Izzy Skane will just win her second Tewaaraton, and Madison Taylor puts up a ton of points this weekend, and Northwestern wins it all. She's a finalist, and she could very well win her first.
I think so. I mean, a performance in the NCAA tournament seems to be weighed heavily in years past, but only 2 finalists left for the women in this Final Four, and that's both on Northwestern's team with Izzy Skane and Madison Taylor.
And Taylor contributes on the draw circle as well. We see her coming up with another one there. That's the 3rd straight draw control for Northwestern. But Taylor's explosive off the line on that circle.
Skane on the move. Missed it. But Northwestern in control right now. Battle for the ball. Taylor battling with Bragg. And won by Emerson Bowlig. Did well to keep it in for Northwestern.
That was great pursuit by Bowlig, just recognizing that there was going to be a hustle play. Maybe she was going to need to be an option. And with both players just fighting forward, she's able to come up with that ground ball.
Sending 2, going with a teammate to ground balls is critical at a stage like this.
Florida's defense answers once more. They have been tested in the second quarter. Big stop there as Northwestern's gone on this run. Avenelli slowing things down for the Florida offense. They started so well, Charlotte. How do they get back to that on the offensive end?
They love the middle.
How about that? Madison Waters, the senior, strikes and makes it a 1-goal game.
A much-needed strike for Florida. Madison Waters, the senior, gets her 31st goal this season. I actually think that the Northwestern defense was a little bit confused and thinking that Florida was going to slow things down. Pavanelli raised her hand and settle things down. However, Madison Waters saw that she had the lane. The high bouncer just goes right off this beautiful grass field. Northwestern up 5-4.
Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Rachel. Excited to be back with you at halftime. And Drew mentioned these are the top 2 scoring offenses in the country. And yet, Rachel will be happy. Former defender. I think it's the defense that has stolen the show in this first half. We've seen some great takeaways. Rachel, of course, the only defender to win the Tewaaraton.
It's really been excellent matchups against such talented offensive players. I think the defense with some of their perfectly timed checks and double teams, really impressive. And the officials really letting them play, calling some fouls when needed.
Looked like Taylor's gone. A back check keeps her from getting in on goal. Ball is still loose. Taylor claims it and settles it down.
Samantha Smith has come out hot in this matchup at the draw control. She has 4 herself, but she's going up against Liz Harrison, who's 2nd in the nation in draws per game. She likes to really control and have that self-draw. That's when they build momentum. So credit to Samantha Smith for making it a circle game and getting the ball up and out so that her teammates can win it.
And a lot of that is a lot of placement, but also hustle plays. Northwestern has won the last 4 draw controls, so able to kind of stack possession upon possession.
Here's Izzy Skane in attack mode, goes left and scores!
The reigning Tewaaraton winner, the all-time leading scorer in the history of the sport, Izzy Skane, recognizes the slide is late and she shows off her two-handedness. Looking for a feed, but that one split dodge wins that explosive foot race to the inside. And again, her wrists are so strong. She can shoot so quick with some heat on it coming downhill.
I love how loose she is with her stick. Her teammates clear out for her, so she's able to just have all the real estate as she cuts through the 8-meter. And look at what Izzy Skane did to celebrate after last year's championship. She gets champs and with a money sign with that S on her inner lip. We had her pull it down for us to actually show us, and she said she was okay if we brought this on air. But gotta love it. A bunch of her teammates celebrated with it.
Did you get the top gum done if you win again this year?
We didn't ask her. She did say there might be some potential new tattoos if there was another win.
Well, you think about what Skane means to this Northwestern program. They had been to 10 straight Final Fours from 2005 to 2014, won 7 titles during that stretch. Then there was a 4-year absence, 2015 to 2018, where they did not make it to championship weekend. Skane shows up in 2019, boom, right back in championship weekend. This is their 5th straight appearance of the Final Four and trying to make it back-to-back titles. Skane has been with them for all of them, including the one that she was hurt for. But I remember she was so active with that team, felt like another coach on the sideline.
She did not play in the 2022 season due to an ACL injury, but you're right, she was an integral part and became more of a coach and kind of expanded her game just from being on the sideline.
Good opportunity here for Florida. Maggie Hall through contact scores. Great answer by the Gators, and it's their leading scorer, Maggie Hall, who delivers.
Hall scored one 8-meter goal earlier in this game. You have to make these opportunities count, especially when you are a Dodger and go to cage and get fouled. This is her 10th straight game with 2 or more goals. The key is exploding off the 8-meter, and you can see what she does so well is puts that stick in front of her body for the protection, and just explosiveness, great protection, and evades the crease. And you drop that stick as a shooter after you score a goal so the officials can check the pocket. Mandatory stick drop, and usually players do it with a little bit of flair. 5'11" from Bel Air, Maryland, was the 2024 Conference Player of the Year in the AAC. She was telling us that she had to battle through a lot of sickness during her first couple years. Back in 2022-21 season, she had strep 11 times. Still was able to play through it, but lost up to 35 pounds at one point. So really had to battle back to get to her goal weight, and says, you know, obviously she feels a lot stronger. Felt like she was really getting pushed around during some of her time being sick and losing all that weight.
Hansen really pressing out on Hall here.
And we saw with Hall's last goal there, part of this Florida offensive game plan is to handle the pressure that's thrown at them. She did that there to finish that 8-meter, but they got to maintain that in the settled set while Northwestern tries to press out and trap them with heavy pressure.
Hall trying to spin her way free, keeps her balance and buries it. Back-to-back goals for Maggie Hall. Ties it at 6.
You can see the energy that Maggie Hall gives to this Florida offense. She's the spark plug for the unit. And this is the risk that Northwestern takes by pressing out so far, blitzing on the crease. Maggie Hall recognizes that Smith overplays her as she comes down back behind the crease. And she takes that as a dodging opportunity to score on the doorstep.
A spectacular finish for Hall, and that is a first-half hat trick for Maggie Hall. Now 14 goals scored throughout this NCAA tournament.
We had a fun conversation with her yesterday as well, and she was embracing the underdog mentality. This whole Florida team, Florida's had 3 goals in less than 3 minutes, so really exploded. Maggie Hall chipping in a couple as well. When they played UVA really crushed them defensively, and it was the first time that Mandy O'Leary, the head coach, said that they really had seen that kind of defense, and they knew coming into this game that they were going to have to handle a defense like Northwestern that likes to put on the pressure, and they feel much more ready, especially being prepared from that UVA game. But they were rattled a bit, but took a deep breath, and kind of got it back in gear.
Skane fires There's Northwestern back in front. And now Izzy Skane with a first half hat trick of her own. So Maggie Hall and Izzy Skane are two stars in this semifinal, going punch for punch in this first half.
Gotta love the response from end to end. Izzy Skane just is electrifying. And again, once again, the off-ball teammates, they're cutting through, and she looks like she's going to reassess and maybe dish the ball out. Instead, when she sees an opening to cage and can release that shot, she is going to take it. A great split dodge, back and forth, right to left hand. Doesn't need much angle. This is stick side high. I think, really just Vanell wasn't necessarily ready for that shot.
And the body language of Skane as she draws a double team, she's looking like she's going to feed to the middle, and that is what gets the slide to then sit back on their heels, and she goes to re-attack. That is a high-level, high IQ move by the grad senior.
And the Skane train, the nickname she got a couple years ago, it's left the station. She has just been a phenomenal player for Northwestern. Really, 6th year here with the COVID year and redshirt year from her ACL. So much experience. This is going to be a foul from behind. And it's going to be a yellow card as well.
Called against Hannah Heller for the check into the body.
This is the second yellow card for Florida. And once again, you see the coaches just going up, just kind of having a conversation with the player that's sidelined. If a player gets 2 yellow cards, they are removed from the game. So once you get one, you have to rein in your play, whether it's offensively or defensively.
It was the power play in the first quarter that got Skane going, cashed in on the woman up opportunity. Now Northwestern will have up to 2 minutes here. Again, woman up. And it's not like this offense needs an extra player on the field, Charlotte.
And it really feels like they found their rhythm on the draw, and that's translating into their offensive sets as well, giving them a lot of time to settle in, be patient and picky on the offensive set.
Northwestern started out slow. They were 0 for 5 to start this game, and since then, they've gone 7 for 9 of their shots.
Turn it over here now, and Florida can kill the power play. Or potentially go to goal shorthanded. Pavanelli deciding to sit on it. If they kill this penalty, there will be about 10 seconds left on the shot clock to work with. About 3 minutes remaining in this first half.
You see Hannah Gillespie on the far side of your screen, going back onto that face guard on Maggie Hall, who has been stellar in this first half for the Gators offense.
3 of Florida's 6 goals in this first half, had 6 goals in the quarterfinal win against Maryland. One of the hottest sticks in the country right now, Maggie Hall. Danielle Pavanelli, who opened the scoring in this game, just sitting with the ball, 20 seconds left in the power play. Gene, I think you'd want to start initiating offense here because you're not going to have too much time on the shot clock once the penalty's over.
Yeah, you got to operate quickly, and this is something that you work on constantly in practice.
Heller, saved by the Liberty. Northwestern will start the clear with Carly Mahoney.
Heller had a good look on cage, just wasn't deceptive enough with that shot, but La Liberty is able to corral that.
Back to even strength. Here's Izzy Skane. Her Northwestern Wildcats with a goal lead, trying to go back-to-back national champions. Kuykendall was there for the backup. Erin Kuykendall been quiet in this first half. Has it here. Trying to spin her way free. Bottled up by Bragg. And it's stolen away again.
Bragg has been phenomenal. Just excellent stick checks. Rarely do you see players like Izzy Skane, Madison Taylor, and Erin Kuykendall giving up the ball like that. Great defensive pressure.
Florida calls a timeout here, trying to draw something up to tie this game late in the first half.
The NCAA Women's Lacrosse National Championship will be played Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on ESPN. We will be back here in Cary, North Carolina. And for more information, go to ncaa.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. There's nothing quite like championship weekend during Memorial Day weekend. 2 champions will be crowned, one here in Cary on the women's side. On the men's side, Philadelphia, Notre Dame, and Denver will get things started Saturday noon Eastern time on ESPN2, and then Virginia and Maryland to follow. Any thoughts on those 2 semifinal matchups?
I don't know if anyone can stop the Fighting Irish right now. Probably the hottest team, but also the deepest roster from end to end on the men's side. And they got the best goalkeeper in the nation in Leah Mentiman.
They are really good. However, Denver, I think they are just some of that newness. They haven't been back to Final Four weekend since 2017. They won that 2015 championship. There's something about that excitement that I think can give you an edge. And I was at the Virginia Hopkins game this past weekend. Virginia had a great comeback, and they played really strong. But Maryland, I think their comeback win over Duke was really impressive.
I'll give you a parallel between the men's and the women's side. I think everybody goes into the tournament thinking, well, the number 1 seed's going to win it. Notre Dame and Northwestern for stretches of this season both looked untouchable. I think Florida is showing us in this first half that if you play your style of lacrosse and you go in confidently, anything can happen. I agree with you, Shan. I think Denver has more than a fighting chance in that semifinal.
And that's why you play the game. We get to find out soon enough. But it's so exciting when you get to this level, and just that's why I love going to some of these practices and talking to the players on championship weekend, because you can feel the energy and excitement. And I think it's become clear for programs like Northwestern and like a Boston College that have frequently been here. You add Syracuse in that mix, that they appreciate it, and you cannot take it for granted. When you have a new team like Florida, where all these players making their first Final Four, the energy is just contagious.
And it's been a phenomenal first half for the Florida Gators, taking on the reigning champions. This is a Florida team that came into the tournament unseeded, had to knock off North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, 3 perennial powers in the sport just to get here. And they have battled very well in this first half. Not much separated the second quarter clock from the shot clock, so Florida holding for the final possession, Charlotte.
Trying to get the final shot of the half to use the momentum that they hope to build, throwing them into that second half. Smart play here to settle it down. You think they drew something up, though, out of that huddle.
So now these teams are operating 6-on-6. Maggie Hall being face guard. They pulled her completely outside the play. So it gives more room for the offense to operate.
Emily Heller in attack mode. Not much there. Florida under 20 seconds to work with. Madison Waters off to Danielle Pavanelli. 8 seconds. Trying to tie this game at 7. Headed into halftime. Heller on the move. No good angle. But draws a whistle.
And a yellow card. Check to the head. Now this will be interesting. Once again, if you hold the ball when you're a player up and go into the next quarter, you don't have to take a draw. So Florida could get possession. You have to release a shot. Only 1.7 seconds left. The shot just has to be released before the clock hits 0. Not a great hash mark on that hanging hash.
You'd almost think with this amount of time left, you have to take it from the line with a little bit of an outside shot opportunity.
I think a smart move not to take it there, unless you're going to switch hands to the left hand, but maintain possession. Little swipe at the end, but no call. We head to halftime.
So Florida will start with the ball, a woman up in the third quarter. What an effort to go toe-to-toe with number 1 Northwestern. The Wildcats do have a 1-goal lead. Maggie Hall and Izzy Skane, a hat trick each. The Stars have shown up here in Cary, North Carolina. The start of what promises to be a magical championship weekend. You'll be in the studio, Drew Carter, Rachel DeCecco, during the break. Well, it's Izzy Skane and Northwestern controlling a 1-goal lead, but Florida will start the third quarter with the ball and a woman up. Remember, there was a penalty, a yellow card, with less than 2 seconds remaining in the first half, so that penalty carries over to the third quarter. There is no draw control like we would normally start a quarter. So a big opportunity for Florida to tie this game at 7 at the start of the second half.
And a smart move for Florida, not just to try to rush that 8-meter shot on not a great angle.
Good look here, buried. Gianna Monaco ties it at 7. Florida cashes in on the woman up. What a start to this third quarter for the Gators.
Gianna Monaco has been a key piece to this Gators offense that leads the nation in assists. Right on the doorstep, recognizing they're not going to pick her up. She presents a target on goal line extended, and she's patient as she comes around the crease to beat La Liberty low with that subtle hitch before she releases.
Gators tie it at 7. Let's check in with Dana Boyle down on the sideline.
I spoke with Coach O'Leary coming out of halftime, and she wanted to see more offensive ball movement. Wasn't satisfied in that first half, specifically those 3 goals in the 3 minutes. She said we have to do better moving off ball, and you saw that there from Monaco on that woman up goal. More off ball movement to really get that Northwestern defense unsettled.
Stay. And I want you here. Stay. Stay. I'm telling you, stay.
Love hearing the officials. Got to stay motionless once he sets that ball in the stick.
Harrison tried to win it to herself. Madison Taylor pokes it away for Northwestern. For as good as a goal scorer as Madison Taylor is, she is dominant in the draw game as well. Northwestern certainly getting the better circle play right now, Charlotte, but offensively, they've been stifled. More turnovers than we're used to seeing from this Wildcats team. Credit Florida defensively in that first half.
Really keying in on their 1v1 matchups, trusting their footwork and sliding when they need to.
Rebound falls to Izzy Skane. 3 goals to her name in that first half. But it's stolen away again. That's 9 Northwestern turnovers. 6 in the second quarter, and they turn over their first possession here in the third.
Great little poke check from Caitlin Davies.
Waters, the trailer. Loses it. Northwestern responds with a takeaway of their own. I'll say it once again. All the talk was offense, offense, offense. The 2 top scoring teams in the country in this semifinal, and it's the defense is putting on a show.
Both physical styles, aggressive defenses, but for Florida, it's been Teresa Bragg and Caitlin Davies, that 1-2 punch. And that's a double team that has been suffocating throughout this game. Timing checks and playing pretty clean when they close out.
Number 2, Kuykendall, has had 0 goals, 0 assists in today's game. She's such a threat because she can score, but she's an excellent distributor.
195 career assists for Kuykendall, just 5 away from 200. They get it to Taylor. Unleashes a flamethrower, and Madison Taylor puts Northwestern back in front.
Madison Taylor has shown her skills winning the draw control battles, but she's really skilled at scoring. Gets her 3rd goal of the day, and this one she's completely wide open. So the double team focuses on Izzy Skane. She takes a lot of the heat. Nice cross-field pass. Completely, the defense was not able to rotate. Great look here. Just wide open, Madison Taylor. So you can't leave her open. They're trying to leave the furthest person away from the ball open. However, Izzy Skane's too good to see that. And you see the bio for Madison Taylor. Just a sophomore, Tewaaraton finalist, one of the 5 last standing from Wonton, New York. And most points in first 2 seasons as a Northwestern Wildcat. Some great names on that list. Selena Lasota, Kristen Shellman. Some excellent players.
Ready?
And this might be Izzy Skane's first assist of the game in the stat sheet, but that's what's been working for this Northwestern offense when she's able to draw the double team, but then pull the double team out and away.
Samantha Smith's going to be sent off the field for Northwestern for a yellow card. That's a check to the head. Any contact made with the head, whether it's on purpose or not, just because of safety, is an automatic yellow card. So both teams with 2 yellow cards per team. On a team's 4th yellow card, this penalty becomes unreleasable. Right now it's releasable. Watch the check, the swiping check. It makes contact. Easy call for the official.
Got to be clean. When you lose draw controls, it can be frustrating, but you got to play the body and force the opposing team into a double team with pressure and not go for that swipe, because oftentimes it results in something like that.
Florida scored on their last woman up. Ball movement is key, just getting the defense rotating, but you have to be a threat to score. They know you're just going to pass around the perimeter as an easy guard, but when you dodge and cut into open space, that's when you can really find the openings.
Not a great angle for Hall, passes out of it, and Paisley Egan draws shooting space.
That was a beautiful look about what shooting space is, and it's essentially when a defender gets in the path of cage. So you saw the pump fake from Paisley Egan to draw that shooting space call, which sets up an 8-meter opportunity. This is a great look here. She's going to want to veer just slightly to the left towards the center of that 8-meter.
Lets it rip, and La Liberty's there to keep it out. Hall came flying in, stays down. It'll be Northwestern ball.
Hall slow to get up. Looks like she just went diving inside that 8-meter. Florida still with the power play for 55 seconds. Northwestern with possession of the ball.
Carly Mahoney on the clear for the Wildcats. Does so successfully. Finds Jane Hansen. She's got a lot of speed. One of these veteran defenders for Northwestern that won the national championship a year ago. For all that Northwestern returned offensively, they returned so much defensively from the championship team last year. Now searching for the program's 9th national championship. Looking to go back-to-back for the first time since that 2005 to 2014 run.
And Jay, offensively, we talked a lot about chemistry and what that entails with a unit, but it's equally as important, if not more, defensively, especially with the style that Northwestern runs in that high-pressure zone. Communicating, trusting each other allows you to really play a little bit more aggressively with more pressure flying out and understanding that your teammates will have your back, so you can see the veteran leadership on both ends of the field.
Taylor regathers, shoots, stings the corner. Taylor with some high heat, and Madison Taylor starting to take over this semifinal. Back-to-back goals for the sophomore.
Madison Taylor's 4th of the day. And she's so strong at turning the corner on this left-handed elbow where she absolutely makes a living. The slide is late. The slide's on her backside. And that frees up her strong hand coming downhill with no crashing defense in sight.
Kelly Imani Hiller likened Madison Taylor's skills to that of Izzy Skane, which couldn't be probably a higher compliment when you're playing on this Northwestern team, but loves her body control. And I think even when you see her go to cage, just the looseness with her stick, how she just extends her arms and just releases it, you can see some similarities.
You can see similarities, Sheehan, but also talking to Madison Taylor, the reason she wanted to come to Northwestern was because of watching Izzy Skane and the way that she plays and the opportunities they have on the offensive end. So that's why it matters, a star like Izzy Skane.
And Skane and Taylor have combined for 7 of Northwestern's 9 goals. Taylor with 4 goals today now makes it 16 straight games with 4 points or more. Feels like a big moment in this semifinal for Florida. Taylor back-to-back goals to give Northwestern a 2-goal advantage. Can Florida punch back here in the third quarter? Here's Maggie Hall. 3 goals to her name. Northwestern's gone in and out of the face guard on Hall right now, leaving her open. This is Pavanelli. Hall has a step, trying to use it, dove in. She's laying flat on her back in the crease, but I think a foul came first. And Maggie Hall's been the center of a bunch of controversial calls today, both in the first half and earlier. She's not afraid of contact, that's for sure. You know, Northwestern trying to say that Hall's been flopping in this semifinal.
She's been attacking fearlessly off of that ball movement on the perimeter. Trying to get to the sweet spot right inside the 8-meter.
Hall, 76% conversion rate from the 8-meter, charges in and scores! The patience to not release it until it was ready. And Maggie Hall makes it a 1-goal game.
It's almost like she responds to the contact. She gets thrown to the turf, and then she responds with a score. Not a great angle coming off this hash mark. However, she just wills her way to the center. Look how she penetrates the inside. And the beauty here is one of the protection of the stick, and then also how she evades the crease. So she lets this one go. She throws in a quick fake. She's forcing it, but also is patient as she forces it. She gets herself to a great angle when they need a goal. This is what a leader does. In Northwestern, they're just trying to cut off her angle. However, the defenders are running by her, and Hall's able to get her stick completely free. Drops the stick, and then runs around the crease to stay out of it.
Tiptoed around it, because if she falls in at any point in the follow-through, that would be no goal.
You are taught as a young player to imagine the crease as a brick wall in terms of your feet entering into it. Your stick can go into it in terms of your follow-through, but your feet need to stay out of it.
Hall's showing her strength all game long. She actually drives that top shoulder, shakes Carly Mahoney off of her stick side as well.
I feel like if Northwestern just had held body and just run with her, they could have forced her out. But instead, you try to beat her to space, and then she's going to be able to cut in.
And that's where you can get in trouble when you try to go for that check and lead with your stick. You almost give up that positioning right there. And she shakes her off of her line, gets Mahoney off balance, and frees up her stick.
The ball going through Hall right now. 4 of Florida's 8 goals. The Gators searching for an equalizer here. Emily Heller, so much speed contained there.
And they found success off that fast perimeter ball movement, but then attacking quick on the backside.
Pavanelli taken out by Mahoney.
A lot of these whistles, if you're new to the game, are all about player safety. So that the issue there was the defensive check that went towards the head area into the body. Not going to be a yellow card, but will be an 8-meter free position shot.
Danielle Pavanelli, the senior leader of this Florida team, playing in their first semifinal in 12 years, charges in through contact, buries it. Ended up in the crease, but it's a good goal because of the contact, and Pavanelli ties it at 9. The officials took their time there because Pavanelli was clearly in the crease when she lands, but the contact came first. And buckle up, midway through this third quarter, tied at 9 between Florida and Northwestern. This Pavanelli goal coming right at you in your living room. We could not have asked for a better start here in Cary, North Carolina. Our first semifinal tied at 9 between Northwestern and Florida. Coming up next on ESPNU, a rematch of the ACC Championship, Boston College and Syracuse. Dana Boyle down on the field. Charlotte North, she and Stanwick Birch. Jay Alter with you. A beautiful day here at Cary, North Carolina. It's some great lacrosse. These two teams just going punch for punch. Florida, the nation's longest winning streak. They've won 20 in a row.
Ready?
Trying to keep it going against the reigning champs and #1 seed in this tournament.
This is going to be an alternate possession on the draw. The ball did not go above the shoulder, so Northwestern awarded.
Samantha Smith, number 19 in white, has really done a good job the later part of that first half and into this second half, dominating against a really strong and fiery Liz Harrison for Florida.
Lindsay Frank weaving her way through the defense. Gets it to go, and the Wildcats an immediate answer after Florida had scored 2 in a row. That's Frank's second of the semifinal. The transfer from Richmond showing up in a big spot.
9th straight game with a goal for Frank. She opened up the scoring for Northwestern off the 8-meter. This one just trickles in, but she just does a quick little split dodge from up top, but lets that release for about the 7-meter, just very close to that 8-meter line. Because oftentimes goalies are used to people penetrating in and really taking their time. Just bounces off. It looks like the pole of Fennell's stick. Perfect placement. A lot of the shots that have gone in against the Florida goalie, Fennell, today have been that off-stick side in that hip area, which a lot of times when you're being coached to shoot, that's the area where you want it to be.
Go!
Keep it together.
Ready?
Great listen in with our officials mic'd up at the draw between Samantha Smith and Liz Harrison. Charlotte, you took the draw at Boston College. When they're saying go, go, what does that mean?
Constant communication with your circle teammates. You got 2 of them, and you got to place them strategically. It's a unit that spends just as much time as an offense or a defense scouting opponents and building a game plan. And chemistry is a huge part of that. So being on the same page and having direct calls and communication is key to coming up with possession.
And what do you think that go is? It sounded like Harrison for Florida was saying, is that maybe the circle players? It's going to go to you, so you're going to need to go somewhere? Is that a directional command?
It is, and a lot of times you can tell from the way the ball is set in between the 2 heads who really has the advantage. If you feel like you don't have control of it, you can send your circle girls where you want them, maybe at that opposing center's win spot, and that can give you a bit of a jump.
And will you finally tell us your code words? For a long time, they were close to the best. What was your key?
Changes all the time. I mean, again, a team scout, and we've got such great access with the mics down on the field with the referees to be able to hear it. So you got to be deceptive in your calls, and it's kind of like football and play calls and trying to get someone to jump off sides.
Yeah, the Peyton Manning, Omaha at the line. It's escaping me, but in 2021, you had something like that where you just said it time and time again and kept winning it.
She's still not telling us. We still don't know.
There's too many in my brain.
It must still be in play. We'll have to.
No, we had a good time building chemistry with that unit.
Oh, it's a bobble. Is it saved? Northwestern just a heads-up play. Once again, we've seen this from Northwestern a couple times. They send 2 people to the ground balls in pursuit of it, and they've been able to come up with possession both times.
Timeout taken by Northwestern. They had a failed clear in the first half where La Liberty got dispossessed by Danielle Pavanelli, and Kelly Amonte Hiller making sure that she can set up her clear properly here. The semifinals here tonight with Boston College and Syracuse still to come. And then on Sunday, the Women's Lacrosse National Championship game will be played on Maine ESPN noon Eastern time. You do not want to miss it. For more information, go to NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Now, speaking with head coach Kelly Amonte Hiller, who's making her 15th championship weekend appearance, the most of any coach, she said what these 4 teams have in common, 4 terrific coaching staffs, and there's so much overlap between these four schools. It all starts with Florida's head coach, Mandy O'Leary. When she was a Maryland assistant, she recruited Kelly Amonte Hiller to come play for the Terps. And then obviously Kelly Amonte Hiller's success as a player speaks for itself. At Maryland, goes on to create this dynasty in Evanston with Northwestern. Acacia Walker was part of Kelly Amonte Hiller's staff early at her tenure in Northwestern from 05 to 08, and then Acacia Walker takes over Boston College, and Kayla Trainer was her assistant. So from O'Leary to Kelly Amonte Hiller to Acacia Walker to Kayla Trainer, they've all spent time together, and that's what makes this sport so special.
So many connections in the coaching trees, and oftentimes all roads lead back to Maryland. Somehow, sometimes of the connections. Also, all four of those coaches were unbelievable players. You have Mandy O'Leary, who starred at Temple, was two-time All-American in hockey and lacrosse, won a national championship there. Kelly Amonte Hiller was dominant in soccer and lacrosse at Maryland. She won a national title. Acacia Walker, such an excellent player from Maryland, the U.S. team, and Kayla Trainer at Syracuse, just a dominant force. Not only the best connections and great friends, but also great players.
If you're a great player, it doesn't always translate to being a great coach. Why is it translated for these four?
I think they love the game. And that is another thing when you talk about those coaching trees and having just the contact with Maryland, it just spreads that love and success, and I think it goes downhill.
And they're constantly evolving. These programs are evolving as the game is developed. The game looks a lot different than it did back in their playing days, and credit to them and their style of play and what they did to push the sport forward, and then everybody who followed after them as players, as they were mentors to those players. And you've just seen the game really develop and evolve to become what it is today.
Talking to Mandy O'Leary and Kelly Amonte Hiller, specifically for Kelly Amonte Hiller, was the way in which Mandy O'Leary challenged her to see her light and the way that she was capable to move forward and be such a good player. And I think that's what stands out to me with all four of these coaches. It's the ability to motivate and the ability to empower these young women to take risks, be vulnerable, achieve at the highest level, and maybe you might fail. Speaking of championship weekend, and Kelly Amonte Hiller admires Mandy O'Leary, and they still have a great relationship. Maybe not this weekend, but outside.
So the officials are still trying to figure out the shot clock situation. When was the timeout called, and how much time should be on the clock? The scoreboard currently has nothing on it at Wake Med Soccer Park, so that's not a good thing. I'll ask you, as we talk about these four head coaches, Charlotte, who's a recent player or maybe a current player that you think fits that mold? Great player and could be one day a great coach.
Well, we've seen it in recent years with Kayla Trainer taking over as the head coach of the Syracuse Orange. She really changed the way that people play the game. We see it with Michelle Tumalo as well at Army, just changing the game as a player, inspiring the next generation, giving a different type of flair to the game. And you see it play out on the stage like this with players like Izzy Skane and Maggie Hall and Madison Taylor, and a bunch of star power in tonight's game as well. You can see where the inspiration comes from all the generations that came before.
Carly Mahoney, been a one-woman clearing machine today for Northwestern. Does it once more. The Wildcats with a one-goal lead under 5 minutes to play in this third quarter. Here's Izzy Skane. Must watch with the ball's in her stick. Off to Amonte with plenty of room. Lets it rip high.
Florida got away with one right there. The double team comes, but there's no slide to get onto Amonte, and she had a wide open look at Cage.
Off the restart, Mary Schumar back out to Amonte, who's the niece of the head coach, Kelly Amonte Hiller. Frank lets another fly there. Northwestern not shy on this possession to let it fly from deep.
Their backside offense has been so impressive as they've developed over the course of the season. Recognizing double teams early when you got players like Izzy Skane drawing them on a daily basis. You got to be ready on the backside to trigger offense because somebody's open.
The double team comes for the first time on Taylor, and she throws it away. So Florida making an adjustment defensively. They had not been sliding the double on to Taylor. They do there, and it pays off.
I haven't seen Northwestern struggle this much in terms of the double teams and handling the pressure. So credit Florida just for really coming up with those takeaways and forcing the turnovers.
Florida almost gives it right back to the Wildcats. Teresa Bragg, great catch there to keep it alive. Florida team that came into this tournament unseeded despite a long winning streak of 17 straight games. Went on the road and beat North Carolina, Virginia, and Maryland. And now giving the #1 team reigning champions Northwestern everything they can handle in this semifinal. A chance to tie it at 10 with under 3 minutes left of this third quarter.
They have embraced this journey. They've called themselves road warriors. They've been on the road the entire month of May, playing all their games away from the confines of the Florida Stadium. And they've been dominating. They dominated in conference. They suffered 2 losses to start the season, but they've been on a roll.
Great save by Liberty. Kendall Halpern escapes the pressure, gets it to Samantha Smith. A lot of contact. And a block called against Maggie Hall.
It's all about the placement of where that foul occurred. If Maggie Hall was out over that restraining line into the other 30, offensive 30, it would not be a green card. If that was inside that midfield area in the 30s, it should be a green card.
Emily Heller took a lot of contact on that shot opportunity.
How about that for help? Getting a piggyback ride off the field, Heller.
I like the style points for that, but I know Florida fans are not going to like seeing Heller being helped off the field like that. So hoping she's able to return. We'll have to monitor Dana down there in terms of what's being attended to.
Pavanelli aggressive in the ride, battling for the ball. How good has Danielle Pavanelli been for Florida today, both offensively but also in the clearing game?
And you can tell they want the pressure on that half of the 30, so they evade the green card situation. That pressure's coming quick.
Nice save. Elise Fennell called into action, makes the stop.
What a great stop from Fennell. It just looked like it was a wide open opportunity for Northwestern to score. She comes up with a stop. We talked a little bit about her story, just how she lost the starting job, was able to come in when the goalie Hoy was sidelined with an injury, and she's taken every advantage. And she kept her attitude positive. Coach Reggie Thorpe, assistant coach for Florida, telling her nothing's set in stone. You can make your way back in there. And she has been playing stellar. She's been called to be back in the lineup.
Skane give and go with Kuykendall, and she wasn't ready for it. How many times have we seen those two connect, and yet something has been missing in this semifinal?
A lot of Northwestern's goals today have been unassisted, so maybe
Taylor comes flying in to break it up. Bragg trying to recover it, and she does for Florida. Both of these teams chaotic in the ride. It is made for uneasy clears. Dispossessed on a back check, and Northwestern wins it right back. Back and forth we go at the end of the third quarter.
It was a great play by Jane Hansen with the back check.
now Hannah Heller is being sent off.
I didn't see a card ever come out of the pocket there. But Heller was sent off. Her twin sister Emily was carried off just moments ago.
And Hannah Heller already has one yellow card, so we're waiting to hear if this was a green or a yellow card. But it's a 2-minute penalty. It's a yellow card, so Hannah Heller will now be removed from the game. Once you get 2 yellow cards as an individual, you have to be removed from the play of the game to still stay on the sideline. This is the 3rd yellow card for Florida. So on the next yellow card, the 4th team yellow card, this penalty becomes non-releasable. Right now it is releasable on a Northwestern score. This is a big opportunity for Northwestern.
And Northwestern, similar to what Florida did at the end of the second quarter, is just going to hold this ball and head to the fourth quarter, a woman up with possession. There will be no draw control to start the fourth quarter. Northwestern, a goal up and a woman up to start the fourth. And we will hear from their head coach, the legend, Hall of Famer, Kelly Amonte-Hiller, to start the fourth quarter. You won't want to miss that. 55-minute weather delay is over, and we are ready for the start of the fourth quarter. Northwestern and Florida, 1-goal game, and we promised you the Wildcats head coach, Kelly Amonte-Hiller. It almost took an hour, Dana, but we got her.
Thanks, Jake. Kelly, you spent 55 minutes in the locker room, eerily similar to 2022 at Homewood Field. How did you spend the weather delay?
You know, just talking about different things, kind of relaxing, getting reset and refocused, and, you know, we're ready to go. We're excited about this fourth quarter.
13 turnovers through 3 quarters. How do you address that in this Final Four?
You know, I think you just have to play together, play fearless, and control what you can control. Sometimes they make good plays. Can't let that get us down. Just got to go out there and give our best effort.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Kelly Amonte-Hiller in her 15th championship weekend appearance, the most of any head coach in the history of this sport, eyeing a 9th national championship. And they head into the fourth quarter leading by 1 with the ball and a woman up. And coming up later tonight from Cary, Boston College and Syracuse. We don't know exactly when that will be, but the forecast looks good for the remainder of the night, so no further weather delays expected. Charlotte North, Sheehan Stanwick Birch, Jay Alter with you up in the booth. And to start this fourth quarter, similar to how we started the third quarter, when a team finishes a quarter a player up, there's no draw control. They just get to start with the ball. And this is a big opportunity for Northwestern to convert the power play and go up by 2 at the start of this fourth quarter, Sheehan.
And that's a strategy, really, decision that you make, because you have to be a player up but also maintain possession. So you need to make sure you don't turn the ball over, and you have to decide whether you want to go to cage or not. Northwestern opted to hold it, no draw control, even though they've held the edge there. Northwestern with 13 to Florida's 8 draw controls, but they get to start right away. So a bit interesting way to start the fourth quarter.
And there's a minute 22 left in the Northwestern power play. It'll start with Aaron Kuykendall. But the 2 stars are the 2 Tewaaraton finalists for Northwestern, Izzy Skane and Madison Taylor. Number 27 and number 25, respectfully. They've got 7 of the Wildcats' 10. Taylor leads it with 4 off to Skane, who's got 3 of her own. Both of these teams, who's going to find their footing first after a 55-minute weather delay with your whole season on the line in the fourth quarter in a 1-goal game? Here's Dylan Amonte, storms through, draws contact, and Dylan Amonte will head to the 8-meter for a free position.
They're going to call a push against Florida on Dylan Amonte. The player that is the offending player that does that foul gets put 4 meters behind. Amonte a bit slow to get up. Now they are up a player for a minute and 7 seconds. However, Amonte being put on a really good hash mark. So depending on how she feels, it looks like she's kind of slow and maybe skinned her hands. 21 seconds on the shot clock, though. So even if you opt to pull out, it's a bit hard to make sure you see if you're going to get a great shot up.
Amonte fires it low and scores. Let it rip on the free position. Amonte's 42nd goal of the season, and that one, the biggest of the bunch, to put the Wildcats up 2.
Dylan Amonte's constantly working off ball to generate opportunities on the backside, as you see how she generated this 8-meter, but a step down, textbook high to low, using every ounce of torque in her upper body. And her teammates are fired up coming out of that rain delay.
we've seen that celebration from the Northwestern team. I thought that it had something to do with maybe the skating train and conductors. I've been told that it means that we're all connected. So oftentimes you'll see the players on the sideline doing that little motion, and it looks a little bit odd, but it's basically like, we got this. We're all in this together.
You good? Let's stay. Stay here. I don't want to go down any lower. Ready?
And as the fourth quarter kicks on, the draw becomes more and more crucial. Northwestern has had the edge in the draw control so far today. It stays that way with Madison Taylor winning it. Wildcats have won 14 of the 22 draws taken. And when you have a lead and have the ball, that is a good recipe to closing out a victory.
The defense has been much of a storyline. We're going to see a block call, and this looks like it's going to go Northwestern's way as well. Florida has done an excellent job with their double teams and slides. We're seeing them being whistled for, so they've got to rein in the aggression. Not only do they have 3 yellow cards,
Off the free position, Northwestern a 3-goal lead. Lindsey Frank, that's a hat trick for her today. The pride of Saratoga Springs has Northwestern leading by 3 as we hit the home stretch. Largest lead for either team today.
It almost feels like Lindsey Frank has gotten better and better every single game, every possession for this Northwestern offense coming in out of the box. The deception on this shot is with her body language. She's leaning to the left, subtly dips her shoulders, and the celebrations continue for her teammates. Frank has stood tall and poured them in when her team has needed them most today.
Back-to-back 8-meter goals for Northwestern to open up the fourth quarter. So Florida's going to need to make the adjustments.
Ready?
We've seen this often, whether it's a weather delay or a long extended injury timeout, just kind of how the momentum can shift. And Northwestern started this fourth quarter on fire. They've won 4 draw controls in a row, and they've had those runs with the draw. And that's all, it amounts to possession. When you convert on those possessions, it can be game-changing.
And it's the wing play of Madison Taylor and Sammy White working together with their center, Sam Smith, to really generate opportunity to jump and grab those balls right out of the air and trigger transition the other way.
Lindsey Frank has the hot stick right now. 3 goals to her name. Trying to work it one-on-one. Feeds it inside. Great save. Boy, did Florida need that. Elise Fennell to the rescue for the Gators.
Mary Schumar for Northwestern was wide open coming across the crease, and Fennell just stood strong. It's going to be a foul, and they're going to give a card. We'll see what color it is.
Yellow against Dylan Amonte.
So that's a big call there. So the officials have the choice to make it a green or yellow card depending on the foul. They can upgrade it to a yellow. So this is a 2-minute penalty, and Amonte will be sidelined. This is the 3rd yellow card for Northwestern. So both teams in the same boat in terms of having 3 team yellow cards.
And if you get a 4th, it becomes unreleasable. That would help Florida in this instance in the sense that you're down, you can start stringing together goals during that 2-minute unreleasable penalty. This one is releasable. So as Florida goes into the power play, kind of in the danger zone right now, trailing by 3.
And this offense hasn't touched the ball since coming out of this rain delay. You got to settle in. Everyone gets a touch around the perimeter to really find what you had going in those first 3 quarters.
Florida's done a nice job of drawing the 8-meter on the fouls. They need to just take the ball and dodge in the inside. Clean play. Great defensive effort.
It'll stay with Florida. Again, Maggie Hall drawing the contact. Feel like she's been a magnet to contact in this semifinal. Avenelli ducks in, tries to split the double team. Ball's loose. Falls to Hall, who resets it for Florida. Still a minute remaining in the power play. 30 seconds on the shot clock. Waters lost her footing. Another ground ball won by Hall.
She's got that fire. You can tell she wants the ball in her stick, and she's winning those 50-50 ground ball battles.
Takes it herself, didn't have the angle. 15 seconds to shoot. Whizzed it wide, inches away for Ashley Gonzalez. Now 10 seconds on the timer. Hall has to hurry. Sammy White got a piece of it for Northwestern, scooped up.
And that should reset the shot.
It does.
So this has been a long defensive possession. The officials gathering together. Florida had some nice looks on Cage. Got to credit the Northwestern defense and La Liberty for making some big saves. Still 17 seconds left on the power play.
But Florida has piled on the pressure, but they haven't found the back of the net in what feels like a big possession in this game coming after the 55-minute weather delay. Northwestern scores the first 2 goals. Florida looking for an answer. La Liberty! What a stop! Save of the semifinals so far.
That was beautiful. Excellent job using her body.
And Northwestern is back to full strength. What a woman down penalty kill that was by the Northwestern defense. La Liberty making her 9th save of the game in spectacular fashion.
If you're this Florida offense, you got to keep your foot on the gas in terms of attacking off of the dodge, because that's what sets up those assisted opportunities on the inside that they love so much.
Heller trying to speed through the traffic, loses the ball, and Northwestern has it.
Beautiful takeaway. Catherine Welsh responsible for that defensively for Northwestern. And then can they push transition? We haven't seen a lot of fast break opportunities.
Plenty of pace for Samantha Smith. Motors by everyone. It draws the foul.
And you can see a little bit of the push from behind on the body. So just a whistle, no card being issued.
And a bit of a frustration foul for Florida after that long possession that goes empty.
You see the urgency trying to track right over the restraining line as they transition the ball in sort of a need of a spark situation. But you got to be clean. Again, getting into foul trouble will not help you build momentum.
Bottom right of your screen, you've got Madison Taylor being a face guard, almost looking like trying to be denied the ball by Maria Panzini. So we'll see how Florida tries to really slow down Northwestern in their momentum run, building this into a 3-goal lead.
Clear out for Skane. Double team. Chasing the reigning Tewaaraton winner. Off to Kuykendall. Under 15 seconds on the shot clock. Madison Taylor wiggles free, loses the face guard. Now in attack mode. Finds Kuykendall, 4 seconds to shoot, fires, and it goes! Erin Kuykendall with 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Sent a prayer, and it was answered. And it's a 4-0 Northwestern run, and the Wildcats starting to separate for the first time today.
Kuykendall has been put under pressure, and this one, she just lets her deception shine through here. Lets it rip from the outside. Just a masterful. Her stick skills are some of the best in the game. Really hard to guard. She's so calm, cool, and collected.
Kuykendall, the skill, the flair, the no-look, showcasing her range, and the Wildcats are heating up in the 4th.
Northwestern on a 4-0 run, a run that was started, Sheehan, on a Lindsey Frank goal as the Wildcats begin to separate.
The transfer from Richmond, she's been on fire today. 3 goals on 5 shots, scoring from the 8-meter, from the open field. She's coming into this game just averaging 1.4 goals per game, so really shining when it matters the most, and really great scoring percentage today for Frank.
And after the Erin Kuykendall shot from way outside, Florida has made a goalie change. Georgia Hoy in between the pipes now for the Gators, who have fallen down by 4. for the first time in this semifinal. It was so back and forth through those first 3 quarters. Northwestern led by 1 at the start of the 4th. 55-minute weather delay. And the Wildcats have come out, won 5 straight draw controls. And they are in control of this semifinal. 8 minutes and 30 seconds away from securing a spot in the championship.
Excellent circle play for Sammy White. Not only did she get the ground ball and win it, but then she's able to just take it down to start transition and not waste any time.
And you almost feel like Sammy White and Madison Taylor have a sixth sense for each other. They're 2 to the ball with 1 Florida Gator around them.
Hoy into the game, stops the first shot she sees, so that's a good sign for Florida, but struggling on the clear, and Northwestern wins it back.
A complete team effort for Northwestern, putting the pressure on that ride, coming up with a turnover.
Georgia Hoy was the starter for Florida for 11 games, then got injured. They put in Elise Fennell, and they have not looked back. But they are very confident in Hoy and Cage. Can they string together enough stops and generate enough offense on the other end to find 4 goals here in the remaining 7:30?
I think right now Florida defensively has to amp up the pressure. You need to play smart. They are in card trouble with 3 yellow cards, but you got to put the pressure on, try to come up with a turnover, force them into shots. You don't want them to work the shot clock.
Her 5th of the day! And Northwestern leads by 5.
Madison Taylor has absolutely commanded the moment today. Isolating again on that left elbow where we've seen her go to work all day today. And again, the slide is just a little bit too late. And she recognizes that, and then she pulls the trigger. You got to be on high alert when 25 in white has the ball on the elbow.
And credit to the off-ball players occupying their defenders. If their slide is a little bit late, that you don't want to leave your player open, so you're not hedging and not going fast enough. Taylor recognizes that, but has all the room, and that's almost a carbon copy of one of her earlier scores.
Up first. Over here. Ready?
It was a year ago that we said a star was born when Taylor, a freshman on this very field, took over that national championship game against Boston College. Now as a sophomore, she is an established star, one of the 5 towards on finalists. As Florida earns a free position here with Danielle Pavanelli, their senior leader. You know Pavanelli's not going to go down quietly.
And this is the pace that they like to play with.
Yep.
Fast break, slow break, dodging out of the gates.
And if Florida's going to come back and find 5 goals, you have to convert your free positions. No goals in 15 minutes for Florida. Pavanelli gets this one. Much needed for the Gators, and it's their senior leader who delivers.
When the game is on the line, 7 minutes left to go, whether you extend your season or not, you can see Pavanelli, the leader on the field, just firing up her team, delivering on that 8-meter. And just explodes, quick little stick fake, and great bounce shot. Fake high, shoot low, and hugs that pike with the placement.
Sammy White loses her footing there adjacent to Danielle Pavanelli. And that frees up that non-stick side a little bit more for her to fight to that angle. That's a perfect visual of where to aim to shoot on a left-handed goalkeeper.
And the Florida Gators rely on Pavanelli for more than just scoring goals. They need the ball on her stick, but she's that motivational leader that sort of settles them down, according to Mandy O'Leary, the head coach for Florida. And I've been spending some time on the Florida sidelines, and she's in constant communication with their attacking unit, telling everybody to settle down, 1 goal at a time.
Big draw control win there for Florida. Emily Heller has it. There's still time in this game for the Gators.
Good protection for Emily Heller, transitioning downfield, and Florida has struggled to win the draw control, especially in this 4th quarter. Can they string together back-to-back goals?
They go back to Pavanelli. And a charge is called. Pavanelli lost the ball, going a little too aggressively there. It'll be Northwestern ball now.
That's where she's been effective dodging from in transition. We just saw it on her last 8-meter goal that was set up there, but you got to recognize a little bit sooner when the slide's coming and halt your momentum to find where the next play is.
And remember, both teams with 3 yellow cards each, so one more yellow card will be an unreleasable 2-minute penalty. But with your season on the line, you're not thinking that way, right? If you're Florida, you have to ramp up the pressure.
Yeah, you want to really try to control defensively, especially when you're trying to get the ball back, but they need to be aggressive right now. So really just don't want to be like overly aggressive with the cross checks or obviously checks to the head, because those will be pretty much automatic yellow cards. But I think they need to be aggressive. I would put pressure behind and just have the doubles ready. Everyone kind of have your help on point, and just the communication has to be there. They need the ball back.
Here's Lindsey Frank, 3 goals today. Beautiful kicks it to keep it alive with Bowlig. Shot clock under 30. A lot of time coming off this clock on this possession. Here's Skane. Full head of speed! Izzy Skane might have just sealed it for Northwestern.
Calm, cool, and collected. Izzy Skane and Aaron Kuykendall are great friends off the field, and it's obvious their connection on the field. We haven't seen a lot of this between the two of them today, but this has been what their bread and butter all season long. They work off each other. Such threats. Last year, both of them were to the top 5 Tewaaraton finalists at the end of the season. And just a great job, draw and dump, perfectly executed. Aaron Kuykendall, again, just evades the pressure, gets her stick free, and gets to Izzy Skane, and she puts it in. A nose to cage, and that goes right between the legs.
That's a sign of 2 players who have played together for quite some time. Skane knowing exactly when to slip underneath the backside of that defender. And the trust they have between each other is very evident.
Ready?
Big draw control win for Madison Waters in Florida. They have to find 5 goals in the final 5 minutes here.
And Emily Heller taking over for the draw control position for the Gators over Liz Harrison. Could maybe provide a spark. She's directing the ball to her circle where she wants it.
Contact, no call. La Liberty has it for Northwestern, and a timeout taken by Kelly Amonte-Hiller. Sammy White with an excellent recovery there. And the Wildcats 4 minutes and 43 seconds away from securing a spot in the national championship, where they will have an opportunity to defend their crown and go back-to-back.
Just looking at the body language on the field, it almost looks like Northwestern is starting to celebrate. You can see that they feel the momentum.
I would argue, have they ever stopped celebrating? Whenever you see them, they have so much joy on their sideline, in their locker room. During the selection show, it was a party. It feels like a program that won the national championship a year ago and just has used this whole season to celebrate what has been a great team.
And that's their whole theme of this weekend. It's time to party. They've been bringing the celebration. Here's the time to have fun and shine.
And Dana, what were they doing during the 55-minute weather delay?
Well, they're having a dance party, so it certainly is time to party. I went in to plug my phone in, happened to run into a dance party I was not asked to join. I'm a little upset about it, but they were loose. They were having fun, and on the flip side, Florida was cramping. They had their legs up on the wall. They were using machines to address the cramping in the stem. So Northwestern, they've been loose.
That could be the difference, because this was a 1-goal game, 10-9 Northwestern, before the weather delay. And obviously 2 teams have treated that weather delay very differently. And now it's Northwestern leading by 5.
When you're a team that stays loose and feels the energy, it makes a stage like this a little bit easier to manage. and you get into the flow of a game a little bit better, feeling a little less pressure, and it can be heightened in a weather delay. You come out, and the natural response is to tense up because the moment gets bigger. But staying loose is so important.
Florida's been good with some of the takeaways. They need to ramp up the pressure defensively. Got to get the extra possessions. If the ball hits the ground, it's got to be all over Florida, realizing just the urgency they need in trying to get this ball back. They're tired. It's been a long game. It's hot. But Florida, if any of these teams, should be used to it just in terms of what they practice in down the Florida Heat day in, day out.
Swiped away by Pavanelli. Hall has it. What poise! Maggie Hall, with the season on the line, injects some life into this Florida team. And again, it was Pavanelli that caused the turnover.
The double team coming out of that timeout, setting up in the ride. Perfectly executed. Ashley Gonzalez forces her back to Pavanelli, who times the check as Smith rolls back to the outside. And who else but Maggie Hall when her team needs it the most? The patience on the doorstep to take the extra second, throw the extra hitch. La Liberty bites high. She buries it low.
And I feel like Maggie Hall grew up listening to you do broadcasts, because you always say, throw in an extra fake. Well, she threw in about 5 there to beat La Liberty.
She's done an excellent job just getting her stick free, the deception, the patience here. And really what I love with the whole Florida, that whole team unit in terms of getting the ball back, when that ball released from the stick of the Northwestern player, oftentimes you'll see a lot of players go for that ball. Instead, Pavanelli was very calm and controlled and let Maggie Hall get control of it, so it was a seamless transition and path to cage.
Big draw control win for Northwestern. They will look to kill this clock. 4 minutes and 20 seconds away from securing that spot in the national championship game.
A green card being issued. And as Florida is offsides, or is Northwestern, let me think. Doing my best to count. Is everyone? There's 6 Florida players down there. It should be 7 on 7. And so it's offsides on Florida.
Emily Heller in the box for the Gators. Her sister Hannah Heller is already out of this game with 2 yellow cards.
So costly foul with the green card. The shot clock gets reset back to the full 90 seconds.
And now you really can't double team, because there's somebody that's always going to be open when you're a player down.
This was a green card, so it doesn't count to that card total for the team, but still a costly penalty.
Ball's loose. Bolig trying to regather it. And Florida has it. What a turnover for this Florida woman down defense. Madison Waters, foot on the gas. Gets it to Hall. Into the side netting. Hall regathers, loses her footing, somehow gets up. This is remarkable for Maggie Hall. Still running with the ball. And a timeout taken. Chaotic sequence for Florida. That's my reaction too. Got to take another look at this.
The tenacious and suffocating double team. Woman down. And the speed out of the midfield from Madison Waters maintains possession.
So it was in La Liberty's stick and Hall swiped it away. I thought it went into the side netting. No, La Liberty made the save and Hall said, give me that.
Trying to be clear that it was in her stick and didn't cross the goal line. Her momentum shifted her back into the cage, but she put it out too far. And a takeaway.
Wow.
Maggie Hall will not give up.
No, Maggie Hall and Danielle Pavanelli, those two battling to the finish line for Florida. 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Your season is on the line.
It's hard to see if Liberty's stick was outside that crease area.
It looked like she was falling behind goal line after she made the save.
Extended the stick
So she was trying to keep it out because that ball cannot cross that goal line.
She uses the net here when she makes this save to almost push herself out. It would be a goal if it crossed over the goal line.
So she punches her hand out. That's one way to keep it out of the goal line.
Wow. Izzy Skane going over to her goalie, Molly LaLiberty, and saying, you got this. It's been a bizarre game for LaLiberty. Early in the first half, she's running over to the sideline. They throw in the backup for a minute. Then she goes back in and makes a spectacular save. And you see, since the weather delay, Northwestern has dominated this fourth quarter 5-2. But credit Mandy O'Leary's team. They have not gone down without a fight here.
Still plenty of time. We've seen goals scored from the draw control as quick as 6 seconds. Maggie Hall has been on a mission. 5 goals to her name.
You know she wants to go to goal here. Interestingly, decides to pull it out, and Florida just doesn't have that much time.
They're waiting to get full strength, so the penalty is now released, and now they will be operating 7-on-7.
3 minutes remaining.
They're going back into the face guard on Maggie Hall. Hannah Gillespie, number 44 for Northwestern.
You know you can't force anything if you're Florida, but you have to begin to hurry here. Had a good look right on the doorstep, and Gianna Monaco couldn't control it. A ton of contact. Waiting for the whistle, block or charge. They say it'll stay with Northwestern. Right in front of the Florida sideline, and a green card comes out.
So Maggie Hall will take a seat for 60 seconds. Not who you want off the field. Take a look at this. And a push into the body. And again, that's in between the restraining lines. That new rule this year, which has issued a green card. Typically for tripping, pushing, any physical fouls between the 30s. It's a new penalty this year.
Trying to take a charge there, it looked like. Trying to get her feet set enough.
And that would have, if that was the case, then it was awarded against Northwestern, then that would have been a green card going for Florida's way, but not the way the officials saw it.
And now it's a game of keep away. 2 minutes remaining here. A game that was back and forth, saw a 55-minute weather delay at the start of the fourth quarter, and that's where Northwestern really turned it up a notch. That championship pedigree showing up in this fourth quarter.
And this is what you don't want for Florida. This is a yellow card for a cross-check, so this is the team's 4th yellow card. Now this penalty, the shot clock gets reset back to 90 seconds, and now this is another 2-minute penalty, in addition to the green card penalty being served by Maggie Hall. So Northwestern with a huge advantage.
And it's unreleasable for the rest of the game. Because it's the 4th, the full 2-minute penalty will be served. There's only 1:40 left in it. So Northwestern will go 7-on-5 for the next 20 seconds and then still be a woman up.
And this is a dagger. Florida has been in a little bit of foul trouble for a majority of the game. Gotta handle the discipline as you close out. When you want to get pressure on ball, you gotta be careful.
And while it's a frustrating fourth quarter for Florida, I think you have to say still a spectacular season for this Gators team to beat North Carolina, Virginia, and Maryland on their way to the Final Four. First championship weekend appearance since 2012.
They were unseeded, a lot of upsets along the way, knocking out North Carolina, Virginia, the 5 seed, Maryland, the 4 seed. They deserve to be here and put up a really great effort. Northwestern, they really put things together in this fourth quarter. They have owned the fourth quarter.
Well, the top-seeded Wildcats tested in this semifinal. But Madison Taylor and Izzy Skane leading the charge. Kuykendall added one goal, which seemed to be the difference. And now Northwestern will kill the final 20 seconds here and then await the winner of Syracuse and Boston College. Skane tried to add one more. So Northwestern, a 15-11 win in the semifinal, and the Wildcats will have an opportunity to defend their national championship and try to go back-to-back.
Capitalized out of the weather delay. Found a way to get it done on both sides of the ball. Adjustments at the drop control and showcasing their experience at the biggest stage of college lacrosse.
Final score being 15-11, but this was a much closer game, especially for the first 3 quarters. Back and forth. This Florida team, so much to be proud of. First unseeded team to make it to the Final Four since 2017. There's Madison Taylor, the sophomore sensation. This is a good learning lesson for this Northwestern team, too, because they had struggled at times with some of the defensive pressure, but they made some adjustments. They didn't give up. And a really impressive finish for Northwestern in those final 15 minutes.
Madison Taylor led the way. 5 goals for Taylor. She's today's player of the game, brought to you by Capital One, and she's down on the field with Dana Boyle.
Certainly not afraid to find the back of the net. Madison Taylor, 5 goals. What was working on the offensive end?
I think when all of us were moving and playing together, that's when we found the most success. I think in the first half, we were a little standing around, not really moving for each other, and then we said that at halftime, we're like, let's move for each other. This is fun. Like, this is what we want to be. This is where we want to be, so let's just do it.
Opportunity to defend your crown. What was the shift in the fourth quarter coming out of the weather delay?
I think we all were just sitting there. We're like, come on, like, this is literally why we came to this school. Like, come on, let's just have a lot of fun and celebrate every little thing. We said that we weren't celebrating enough in the beginning, so then I think we came out there and celebrated literally every little thing. And I think that just made it 10 times more fun, takes the pressure off a little bit, and that's what we did.
Oh, I heard the dance party during the weather delay. I heard it. It was pretty elite.
Obviously.
What's it like playing with Izzy Skane and the pieces around you that are so elite?
I literally look up to her so much. She's such a big role model to me. I just love how not seriously she takes herself. She was the real one that was saying we need to celebrate more and have a lot more fun, and I just look up to that. So, yeah, that's all her.
Congratulations. We'll see you on Sunday.
Thank you. See you Sunday.
See you Sunday. Madison Taylor, a Tewaaraton finalist, 5 goals in the semifinal to send Northwestern to the national championship game. Who will join them? Boston College or Syracuse? That game is coming up in exactly 30 minutes from now in Cary, North Carolina. A rematch of the ACC championship from just a few weeks ago. Charlotte North, she and Stanwick Birch, Dana Boyle down on the field, and Jay Alter. We will be back in about a half hour to give you our second semifinal. Until then, you'll be in the studio with Drew Carter and Rachel DeCecco.